Now this is the health care bill part 6, and I'm going to cover a couple things here real quick. As you continue on this bill, we are in section, I believe it's 2712, if I recall correctly. No, we are in section 2713. Alright. In section 2713, they talk about an interval. Now, what this interval actually means is that there is going to be a period of time between something becoming a recommended treatment. It's kind of like a preventative treatment, like the Secretary of Health and Human Services can say, well, all right, I want people across America to get certain flu shot so that they won't get sick with this certain flu, and there's a period of time between that actual recommendation, which gets put up on an A or B rating, which I talked about in a previous video. If you remember, I talked about A and B ratings in a previous video on this healthcare bill, and say this flu shot becomes one of those A and B preventative ratings. Okay? There's a period of time between that happening and when the health insurance actually has to pay for that. Alright, and that is a minimum of 1 year, but it could be longer depending on what the Secretary of Health and Human Services says. And that is a part of section 2713 of the new healthcare bill. Now, we also have in section 2713, which finishes up section 2713, something called the value-based insurance design. Now, in the attempt for the value-based insurance design, what's really going on here is the companies may decide to lower your copay or even eliminate your copay on certain medications so that you'll take those medications and keep yourself from getting even worse than what you already are. Let's take, for instance, diabetes for an example. A health insurance plan may reduce the copay or even eliminate the copay for the disposable needles that you need and for the insulin that you need, because if you're taking the insulin properly and you're doing the blood test properly, you'll get sick a lot less often and you won't have to go to the emergency room so much, and that lowers the health costs for them. Now, granted, it raises their health costs at the beginning, but because you're not having to go to the emergency room all the time and you're not having to get specialized treatment because you didn't take your medicine, well, then that will reduce their cost of treating you in the long run. So it's really kind of a benefit to them, especially now that they have to cover you. Alright? Now, the Secretary of Health and Human Services will develop those guidelines to help them design a value-based insurance design. And that's what concludes section 2713 of this new healthcare bill. Okay, and you'll find this on page 14 of the healthcare bill. And I was like, wow, 2,000 pages, we only made it to page 14 so far. Alright, if you have any further details on a value-based insurance design, I'd love to hear your comments, or leave me a video response. I'd love to hear from you. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.